Welcome. We've got some thrilling Arsenal news lined up for you, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the latest updates. And don't forget to leave 300 likes to keep us motivated in bringing you the latest Arsenal updates. Arsenal are reportedly in the thick of the chase to snag Borussia Dortmund's in-form frontman Serhou Guirassy come the January window, with whispers of a cheeky bid that could see the 29-year-old Guinea international swap the yellow wall for the Emirates' red and white army. Fresh off a blistering debut campaign at Signal Iduna Park where he bagged a whopping 38 goals and 9 assists in 50 outings, Guirassy's carried that hot streak into this term with 7 strikes and 4 assists from just 11 jaunts. It's the sort of clinical finishing and physicality that Mikel Arteta's been crying out for up top, especially as the Gunners eye bolstering their forward line amid a summer splurge that's already left the coffers a tad lighter after £250 million in outlays. That said, the deal's far from a done deal, what with Guirassy's tidy £44 million release clause dangling like a carrot and Arsenal's brass playing it cautious after splashing the cash on Victor Gyökeres, who's chipped in with 6 goals from 14 so far. Fitches reckon the North Londoners are dead serious about landing him, but Budget Blues and the likes of Kai Havertz, a stubborn Gabriel Jesus, who's vowed to stick around past January, and even emergency poacher Mikel Merino, 9 goals, 4 assists, might scupper it. Rivals aren't biting hard just yet, mind, and Arteta could well pivot to a younger Sesko-esque profile come summer if the purse strings stay tight. Classic Gunner transfer saga, innit? Thomas Frank speaks out about Arsenal thrash Spurs 4-1. EZE's hat-trick turns North London red. Arsenal delivered an emphatic 4-1 victory over Tottenham Hotspur in a pulsating North London derby at the Emirates on Sunday. The afternoon belonged to Eberechi Eze, the former Arsenal Academy lad released at 13, who returned to haunt Spurs with a brilliant hat-trick, fulfilling a boyhood dream he'd tweeted about a decade earlier. Leandro Trossard's opener and a late Richarlison consolation for the visitors completed the scoreline, but this was Eze's day, a proper redemption arc played out in front of 60,000 delirious Gunners. From the first whistle, Arsenal were all over Spurs like a rash. Mikel Arteta's side pressed high and hard, suffocating Tottenham in their own half and enjoying 70% possession inside the opening quarter of an hour. Ange Postecoglou had set his team up with 5 at the back and everyone behind the ball, but patience paid off for the Gunners in the 20th minute. Mikel Merino threaded a lovely ball through to Trossard, whose shot took a wicked deflection off Guglielmo Vicario and looped into the net. 1-0, and the Emirates erupted. The right flank was a constant torment for Spurs. Bukayo Saka and Jurrien Timber tore Destiny Udogie and Pedro Porro to shreds. 10 minutes before the break, Timber whipped in another dangerous cross, Declan Rice won the knockdown with a proper Warriors header, and Eze took 2 touches before leathering it past Vicario via a slight deflection. 2-0. There were howls of offside from the away end, but VAR let it stand, another one of those PGMOL having a mare moments we've become accustomed to this season. Eze wheeled away, arms cupped to his ears. You could almost hear 10 years of hurt leaving his body. Half-time arrived with Arsenal firmly in the driving seat. Saka rattled the bar from a free kick and forced a smart save from Vicario with another, while Spurs barely laid a glove on David Raya. Postecoglou's ultra-defensive setup had kept the score respectable, but they offered next to nothing going forward. The travelling support were already muttering about another season of same old Spurs. 46 seconds into the second half, the game was done. Saka nicked the ball in midfield, Timber surged forward and slipped Eze in behind. The finish with his wrong left foot was pure class, a cool prod past Vicario to make it 3-0. At that point, Thomas Frank, watching on from the stands, told reporters afterwards, Eze is the perfect example of someone who overcomes everything. Released by Arsenal as a kid, now scoring a derby hat-trick for them, his proof that talent and grit can turn your whole story around. I'm chuffed to bits for him. Spurs did pull one back on the hour when Martin Zubimendi, usually so composed, got caught dwelling on the ball. Richarlison latched onto a quick break and smashed home a beauty past Raya, 3-1. Cue ironic cheers from the away end and flashbacks to all those meaningless late goals they've scored at the Emirates over the years. For 5 minutes it felt like the old script might resurface. But Arsenal weren't having any of it. They simply turned the screw again. Merino dropping deep as a false 9 dragged the Spurs centre-backs all over the place, Piero Hincapié won every header going, and Saka kept slicing through the left side of their defence like a hot knife through butter. Substitutions from Postecoglou, including Xavi Simons, changed nothing. Spurs were chasing shadows. The fourth arrived in stoppage time and it was glorious. Hincapie won yet another aerial duel. Rice pinged it wide to Marino, who unselfishly squared for Trossard. Instead of shooting, the Belgian rolled it across to Ease on the edge of the box. One touch, a little shimmy as Rodu Dragusin slipped, and Ease curled a peach into the far corner for his hat-trick. The Emirates roof nearly came off. He almost grabbed a fourth moments later, only denied by a fingertip save from Vicario. A quite magnificent afternoon for Arsenal, for Arteta, and above all for Eberechi Ease. Speaking to the press afterwards, Kai Havertz, who had another excellent game in midfield, summed it up in plain English: that was special. Ease been unbelievable since he came back, and today he showed everyone why we believed in him. Fair play to him, what a performance. North London is red once more, and on this evidence, it's going to stay that way for a while. Izzadi's hat-trick revenge, Spurs humiliated 4-1. North London is very much red again. Arsenal absolutely battered Tottenham 4-1 on Sunday and, let's be honest, the scoreline flattered the visitors. This wasn't just a derby win, it was a proper statement, the sort that has Gooners strutting round North London like they own the postcode again. Mikel Arteta's side played with swagger, intensity and a ruthless edge that Spurs simply couldn't live with. From minute 1 to the final whistle, the Emirates was bouncing and Ange Postecoglou's lot were chasing shadows. The star of the show, without question, was Eberechi Ease. Released by Arsenal at 13, the lad came back to haunt Spurs with a sensational hat-trick that had the home end in dreamland. His first was a cool finish after Declan Rice's knockdown, the second a cheeky prod with his weaker foot 46 seconds into the second half, and the third an absolute peach curled into the far corner in stoppage time. Grown men were crying in the stands. Proper Hollywood stuff. Arteta's tactical tweak of pushing Kai Havertz higher and letting Mikel Merino drop into midfield pockets was pure box office. Merino bossed the middle, Havertz caused chaos as a false nine, and the right flank of Soccer and Jurrien Timber ripped Destiny Udogie to pieces all afternoon. Spurs couldn't get near them. Every time Tottenham tried to play out, Arsenal swallowed them up with ferocious pressing. It was like watching a pack of wolves toy with a wounded deer. Spurs, meanwhile, were an absolute shambles. 5 at the back, 11 behind the ball for large chunks, and still they shipped 4. Postecoglou's Ange ball looked more like hang-on ball. Richarlison's consolation was a belter, fair play, but it was the classic meaningless Spurs goal at the Emirates, the footballing equivalent of turning up to your ex's wedding just to remind everyone you still exist. Ease's redemption arc is the stuff of pure football folklore now. That tweet from 2015 when he was a skinny kid saying he'd score against Spurs one day? His only gone and bagged 3. Arteta revealed post-match that Ease had only 2 days rest after internationals but was straight back in training begging for extra sessions. That hunger, that desire, it's why Arsenal look proper title contenders this season. The numbers don't lie either. Arsenal had 68% possession, 22 shots, 9 on target, and an XG north of 3.5. Spurs managed 4 shots all game. 4. This wasn't a contest, it was a public execution. The gap between the two clubs right now is gaping, and Arteta's men are playing with the belief of champions. Thomas Frank, watching his old protégé tear Spurs apart, summed it up perfectly: Ease overcome everything. Released as a kid, now scoring a derby hat-trick for the club that let him go. That's proper grit. Couldn't have put it better ourselves. North London is red, lads. Very, very red. And on this evidence, it's staying that way for a long old time. Spurs can have their St. Totteringham's Day nostalgia. Arsenal are too busy building something scary. Coig. The Emirates was rocking. The football was glorious, and for one glorious Sunday afternoon, everything in the Arsenal world felt absolutely spot on. Thanks for watching Arsenal Time. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Continue following the Gunners' journey with us, and see you in the next video. Come on, you Gunners!